Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, welcome into another edition of the JP Peterson Show here on this beautiful Wednesday. It's a hump day. Lots to get to today. We've got a great Bolts win last night, gritty, gutty win last night. We're coming to you, obviously, from the Jeeves Law Group studio here. There's the wide shot, and then we'll go to the tight shot, see if this works. Oh, there we go. How about that, man?
Wow, technology.
Let's hope the internet stays up today. We got all kinds of good stuff coming at you. Got some great guests today. Scott Reynolds going to kick things off right off the top of the show. Then Chris Latvala is going to join us, Pinellas County Commissioner, to talk some Rays baseball and stadium. The mayor said yesterday they are fully prepared to go forward and redevelop the Trop site without the Rays. Shocking development. And the great Paul Stewart's going to join us from across the pond, official Bucs historian. We're going to talk about the history of the two Bucs Super Bowl wins and talk some crazy UK sports. So all that coming your way in this amazing, amazing show. And so let's start it right off, shall we? Bring in the loquacious and always dapper and great hair, Scott Reynolds from the Pewter Report. What's up, dog?
Hair's looking good today.
Thank you. Appreciate it, fellas. How are you?
Very nice. Very nice. We are well. Everything good. Technology has been a little spotty this week. I don't know if you guys have had
technology. Is great when it works, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise not so much.
Everything's working right now. So
there you go.
Everybody's in. We're already got nasty comments coming in. So
awesome.
It's all good. Yeah. It wouldn't be a day without
great
that.
Start to Wednesday. Yeah.
It's great.
You suck. Happy Wednesday.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Right.
All right. Well, not that you've been busy at all with emergency podcasts right and left. I mean, it's been crazy, has it not? And the latest, Mike Greenberg is staying.
Yay.
Which is great. Yes.
Huge.
And never even really interviewed, right? He just said, you know what? I don't need Liam Cohen. I'm sticking with the Glazers. This is way better than that stanky Jacksonville market. Oof.
Yeah. I mean, listen, Greenberg was one of those guys that was upset, very upset, livid over what transpired and really how it went down. It's not that you can't fault Liam Cohen for taking an opportunity. There's only one of 32 head coaching jobs, but there's a way to do it that is full of integrity, and there's a way not to do it. And the way that Liam Cohen chose to do it was not very full of integrity.
No,
to say the least. You don't ghost your employer and then kind of tell half truths about where you were and all that type of stuff. But so at the end of the day, it's like, Shad Khan is the guy that we have to just state facts. He hired Urban Meyer, right?
Mm-hmm.
He has a bit of a shady past as an owner. I'm not saying he's Daniel Snyder or anything like that, or Jerry Jones, but he's made some questionable decisions. And the way that they went about this with Liam Cohen was questionable. It's kind of hiding him in the building. I think it's been reported. I want to say Albert Breer reported that they kind of hid Liam in the building because they had to get, was it Patrick Graham?
Yes.
He was the minority coach. So they had to interview him, and it had to be in person. So they had to kind of hide Liam to make it seem like they didn't already have their guy, but they did, right?
Because of the Rooney Rule.
Yeah, and then they did the token, minority interview for the Rooney Rule. And then once that box was checked, then it's like, oh, we're hiring Liam Cohen, surprise, Yeah. And I think Greenberg was torn a bit because I think he's at the age now where he wants to be a GM. He knows it's a very uphill battle. He's not a personnel guy. He's a cap guy.
Right.
There are very few cap guys that get GM positions. So here's an opportunity. He obviously got, the thumbs up of approval from Liam Cohen to want, him on the interview list. So it's one of 32. It's a huge raise, right? I don't know what Greenberg makes, if he makes $500,000 or $1 million. I don't know, but you're talking millions as a general manager. So it's a huge opportunity for his family too. And to turn down the interview, I think just speaks to his loyalty to the Glazers, to Jason Light, to the Buccaneer organization, to the Tampa Bay fan base. And, and at the same time too, it's like you look at the longevity. It's like the Buccaneers Super Bowl window is open. All right, it's open. Like 2025, they're going to add more players too. But with this team, this is a legitimate Super Bowl contending team. And you re-sign Chris Godwin, you add an edge rusher, you find another corner, you add a couple inside linebackers. You could make the case that the Buccaneers are a legit threat in the NFC to make the Super Bowl in 2025.
Absolutely.
And so that's kind of tough to turn down. This is not like a 6-win Buccaneer team, where it's kind of like, all right, well, the Jaguars and Bucs are kind of on equal footing, and and this is my elevator ride up to the GM level. No, this is the Buccaneers are here, the Jags are down here. Do you want to win another Super Bowl ring? And if you do, like, it's not going to hurt your stock. It's only going to make you more attractive. And I think in time, and this is maybe just my speculation. I don't really have any insight to this, but it feels like at some point in time, Jason Light is going to say it's time for Mike Greenberg to be a general manager. And it's time that it happens in Tampa. Yeah. And I can see him go to the Glazers. And listen, Mike Greenberg is beloved by the Glazers. He is not just the GM and the capologist for the football side of the organization. He also does all of the budgeting and planning for the entire organization. So he works with Jason Light and Brian Ford, who's like the GM on the business side of the team as the chief operating officer. So I think in time, I don't have a time frame. I floated it out there. I've written about it. I'm hoping to speak it into existence that Jason Light says, you know what, Joel, Brian, Ed, Darcy, let's elevate me to team president, and let's give Mike Greenberg the GM title and the role and the pay that he deserves.
That sounds right.
And I think that's coming at some point.
Maybe that's why he took his name out of consideration.
Maybe.
And Bucs Basement brought something up here, which I thought was interesting. Mm-hmm. And it goes to the bad blood now that has kind of developed between these two teams. He said, JP, did you see Jason Light clown that Jags insider that was trying to say some BS about him?
Yeah.
He told Greenberg, he better get the job in Jacksonville because he wouldn't be welcome back at Tampa. Like that is so stupid.
Oh, God.
Jags
insider knows nothing about the relationship between Jason Light and Mike Greenberg.
But he got it from somebody inside the Jags organization who said it. Who must Liam Cohen say that? This whole narrative.
You mean the guy that was in the building less than a full year?
Yeah. The guy that all these narratives that are coming out from the Jacksonville side are laughable about holding hostages, in terms of coaches and all this stuff. It's like ridiculous. And I think Mike was like, you know what? I don't need to mess around with this stuff. Let's just stay loyal to the Glazers and just keep this train rolling, right?
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, and especially given the what just happened with Cohen and the backstabbing, if you want to call it that, or what that happened, the dishonesty, whatever. Greenberg must have some confidence somewhere to turn down even the interview for the job that he's safe in the organization, and then maybe he has a future within the organization he's with now.
Yeah.
In order to not want to go seek out other employment,
Yeah, I think you're right. And I don't know if it's written into a contract or just like, spoken, but Jason Light and Mike Greenberg have worked together since 2014. Okay. Mike Greenberg did Jason Light's contract because he was here during the Mark Dominic regime, right? It's one thing to like do the contract for the guy that's going to be your boss, right? It's like, what do you offer him? If you offer him too much, then Jason Light's like, wow, you really suck at negotiating. You're paying me too much money, right? And if you go in too low, it's like, whoa, man, what are you doing? Right. Come on, I'm worth more than this, even though I've never been a GM before. So, like, imagine that scenario, what that's like for Mike Greenberg, because you are negotiating with the guy that's going to be your boss, and you've got to like hit that number right, because otherwise, Jason Light might not think much of you and fire you because you did a bad job on his own contract.
That's right.
But it just speaks to like that's where the relationship started. Greenberg was one of the few holdovers that stayed on from the Dominic regime. Definitely earned his stripes. And those two are just about inseparable. Like there's a deep roster of talented personnel guys. We've already seen John Robinson leave. We've seen John Spytek leave. Mm-hmm. Mike Beal, who's been the catalyst and the brains behind the college scouting, all these great drafts. It kind of starts with him. He's the vice president of player personnel. The other vice president of player personnel, Rob McCartney, is the brains behind the free agency side of this. He's the pro guy, and McCartney is like, he's the kicker whisperer. I mean, for a team that could not find a kicker for the longest time, to nail Ryan Suckup, Super Bowl winning kicker, and then right after him, it's Chase McLaughlin, who's just as good, if not amazing. Better. Right? Yeah. I mean, we're talking about, like, in the realm of kickers, this is Joe Montana to Steve Young. This is
not
Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers.
Not a punting expert, though, unfortunately.
Not a punting expert, correct, but a kicking expert. And if kicking, you get.
Although Camarda started great, I don't know what the hell happened to him. I don't know how you forget how to
the Bucs don't know, but my point is you've got those guys. You've got Shane Scannell. You've got who's on the pro side. Yeah. You've got Byron Kiefer, who's on the scouting side. He's got a deep, talented roster of personnel guys, of film watchers and tape grinders, and guys that will uncover the Zion McCollums and the Cody Mauks and those types of guys. But on the cap side, Greenberg is just like in his own realm, man. He's dynamite.
Isn't Jackie Davidson kind of his protege, though, as well?
Yes, absolutely.
If Greenberg did leave, you maybe have somebody who at least has learned under him.
Maybe he takes her with him. So
yeah, that's true too. That's true too.
There's that thread, because he's the one that brought Jackie into the Bucs organization, because they started together with the Jets organization many moons ago.
Okay. All right, let's get to some other meaty topics here, because we only have you for about 17 more minutes.
Sure.
So Myles Garrett, Josh Capo, Capo did a great Pewter Report video on what it's going to take to get him. My sense is it's too much.
Yeah.
In terms of draft capital that Jason would not want to give up. There are other maybe more efficient, more value propositions. Yeah. Ray Hendrickson or some others. We're talking 2 first rounders and maybe a third. I mean, it's a lot. We'd all love him. And I know Gerald McCoy, and I saw the article you guys wrote about that, loves him. Everybody loves him. That's not a thing, but at what cost? There has to be a red line. And I think it might be too much for the Bucs. What are your thoughts?
If you were one player away, we need an edge rusher, kind of like what the Bucs were with Simeon Rice, to be perfectly candid, right? Yeah, no. Where they had the 2 starting corners, they had the safeties, right? They had the defensive tackle inside. They had the linebackers with Brooks and Quarles. I mean, like that 2002 Super Bowl team, listen, Rice helped them win the Super Bowl when he was acquired in 2001.
And he could have been the MVP of that game too.
He very well could have. That game. Very well could have, yeah. So if you're one player away, then I think maybe it's worth it. The problem is, you need 2 inside linebackers. One may or may not be Levante David, right? We like what we've seen in the small sample size from Servassier Dennis, but he has not stayed healthy for a full season yet. So you need at least 1, if not 2, inside linebackers. I think you need another safety. I would not count on Jordan Whitehead. Jordan Whitehead should mean nothing last year. Was not a playmaker whatsoever. And probably once he recovers from the neck injury, and I'm sorry, undersized safety with a neck injury, we're talking broken vertebrae. I hope he comes back and does well. But man, that's a big cut this guy. No guaranteed money, say $4.5 million. He showed me nothing in his return to Tampa. So I think you need a safety. And if you move Tyke Smith from nickel to safety, that's fine. Now you need a nickel, right? So you need 1 defensive back, you need 2 linebackers, and then you got to replace Jamel Dean. When he's on the field, he's solid, but you can't trust him to be healthy when you need him. I mean, I'm telling you, it's like you were in the press box just like me, JP. When Jamel Dean went down with that knee injury again in the second half, and you saw Josh Hayes come out in the field, like it was ominous. It was like dun dun dun. It was like, oh crap, here we go. Like this
because
is not
Tyreek Funderburk was on the other side because Zion had gone out
for a minute. Yeah.
So I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah. So starting corner, 2 inside linebackers, a defensive edge rusher, and then a safety. That's a lot.
So you can't be giving up assets like that to go get one guy. I agree with you.
Because the thing is you're going to get your edge rusher, but then that first round pick that you're going to give up in this year's draft, not to mention next year's, but in this year's draft, it's going to be your starting corner. It's going to be your starting inside linebacker. It's going to be your starting
edge rusher.
Yeah.
I mean, you could get an edge rusher at 19. There's some really good ones.
There are.
Which we'll get to here with your visit to the Senior Bowl. Yep. So I say, you can go get a Khalil Mack, who's not, I get it, he's not Myles Garrett. He's not. Right. But you could get 1 to 2 years out of it, much cheaper and no draft compensation.
That's right.
So that's something to consider. You pair him with a Mike Green from Marshall or one of these young stud edge rushers who are going to be there at 19.
Yeah.
Now you got 2 guys that's
right.
And an older one to mentor the younger one. To
and
me,
then you got Diabia on the other side.
Exactly.
So it's like you got 3 premier guys. Then you either re-sign Anthony Nelson or Chris Braswell develops. I mean, holy smokes, if second-round pick Chris Braswell is outside linebacker 4 on this team, that's great.
That's good. And you've got the best inside duo, pass rushing duo in the game, in my opinion. Because that
and Logan Hall in a contract year. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah. So, I think that's the way they go. As much as we all would love to see Myles Garrett in a Bucs uniform.
And here's the other thing, JP, too, is like the Falcons are desperate for an edge rusher. And not that I don't want to scare Buccaneer fans that he's going to Atlanta, but he could. They tried the trade for Matthew Judon. It didn't work, but they tried it. You have seen this Falcons organization sign Kirk Cousins and then draft a quarterback in the top 10. So they're desperate to make big moves, desperate to be relevant. Arthur Blank is like foot down on the gas. He is, I mean, when you're in your 80s, you're on borrowed time, right? So it's like he wants to see the Falcons hoist the Lombardi bad. So he didn't care about the future. He cares about now. So like the Falcons are a legitimate threat to land Myles Garrett. They pick at 15. So if it's equal, right? If Tampa Bay says, we'll give you our first this year and our first next year, and they pick 19, and the Falcons are saying, whoa, we picked 15th. We're going to give you this year's first and the next year's first.
Yeah.
The Browns are going to take the Falcons because it's the better draft thing. So then now what do? You add a third in one of those years. Now you get them 3 premium draft picks for Myles Garrett. I'm sorry. I'm not a fan of that.
Yeah, it's too much. All right. Speaking of edge rushers, what'd you see at the Senior Bowl that you liked?
Mike Green.
Mike Green
was he was legit. I mean, he was listen, there's like one, play where he blows up Josh Connerly, the Oregon tackle, right? Just in the one-on-ones, just literally just like he shot out of a cannon, just right into his chest, boom, bowls him over and made that huge play. And that was the viral moment and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Honestly, what I liked better was he did that like 2 or 3 times in the run game, literally just got out of a stance and just smashed into a tackle or a tight end. He just threw his body like a wrecking ball and just, you talk about setting the edge. Those to me were more impressive than anything I saw in the pass rush drills. Like, the guy can rush the passer, 17 sacks. Okay. Yeah, sure. But at 6'4", 250 pounds, how can he set the run? And I tell you what, he and Donovan Ezeraku, who was kind of like, if Mike Green is like Michelob, right? Then you've got like Michelob Ultra and Donovan Ezeraku. It's pretty much tastes the same. It's maybe not as filling, right? But Donovan Ezeraku from Boston College is legit also. And those guys were like this. They were both on the national team. They were talking a lot. They were kind of like the alphas that were like, hey, we run this thing. We're going to hang together. We're going to talk together.
I love
compare notes. Yeah, I do too. It's like
Bucs need a guy like that.
They do.
And
Donovan Ezeraku saw what Mike Green was doing on the other side, and he's just like, I'm going to do the same thing. Again, kind of an undersized guy, 6'2", 245, 250 pounds, very, very much built like Shaq Barrett.
Yeah.
Very quick get off, very long arms, and he was doing the exact same thing. And the run game just literally throwing his body like a sledgehammer into a concrete wall, setting the edge, taking down run plays by literally driving the tackle into the running back in the backfield. Pretty impressive. Those were 2 guys that really stood out to me along the defensive line. Jeffrey Bassa, the inside linebacker from Oregon, screams Buccaneer inside linebacker, great coverage guy, alpha leadership mentality, very vocal guy. He was good. Olu Fawemi Oladejo from UCLA, and edge rusher. He was very impressive as well. This is a good edge draft class, and I'm really curious to see how many teams are actually going to be in the Myles Garrett or Trey Hendrickson sweepstakes, because there's a lot of good edge rushers in this draft class.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, that helps the Bucs though. Having some good edge rushers in free agency, that'll take 2 teams off the list that are desperate for them, so they won't draft them. And those teams are probably ahead of the Buccaneers in the draft, so that's good. And you've got a handful of about 5 guys you think that can make an impact next year from an edge rush standpoint.
Yeah, I think so.
4 to 5.
It's a good edge class, and I think that's going to influence some teams. It's going to just say, hey, we like Myles Garrett. We understand he's legit and the real deal. He's already proven. But that's a lot of draft capital. Or maybe, listen, I don't know how much say Myles Garrett is going to have in this trade thing, right? I mean, you have to be a little scared because the Jets traded for Hassan Reddick, and he decided not to play for the first 7 games and hold out, right? Yeah. And then he showed up for the last 10. And I mean, I'm sorry, but you're still a free agent after this year. You didn't sign that extension. And Hassan Reddick had 1 sack in 10 games. That's scary bad. So not a good look for him, but it kind of makes you wonder. Myles Garrett wants to go to a Super Bowl contender. So you're really looking at the back half of the draft. You're looking at the playoff caliber teams.
Yeah, we talked about that yesterday. Yeah, they're not going to get high picks.
Yeah, but if you're a team, I haven't really studied the other teams and what their needs are. For example, let's say you're the Arizona Cardinals and you want him as your guy. How is Myles Garrett going to feel going to the Cardinals?
No.
Like, you know what I'm saying? But what if they've got the higher draft positioning and they give the sweetest deal to Cleveland? That's a bit of a conundrum.
Does he have a no trade? Is there even a no trade in? Yeah. Okay.
Oh, so he can't have a say-so?
Well,
I don't think they're consulting him though on where
they kind of have to, right? But what I'm saying though is like if you're the Browns, it's not your problem anymore, right? If you have a team that's trading for him and they're willing to give up way more draft capital, and it's an earlier pick than say Tampa Bay or the Commanders or whatever, then it's like why would you just want to send Myles to the team of his choice? Maybe you want to send him to the team that you're going to get the best draft capital. Then you wash your hands with it and you say, Myles, you're there. You deal with it. You can hold out or play. I don't care. But we got the draft haul we were looking for.
Pewter reports Scott Reynolds
to the NFC too, right? They're not going to trade him in the conference. Like I can't imagine him going to the AFC.
I wouldn't do it, right?
You got to take this is a moment to remake your roster. You got to get multiple high picks and redo your whole roster, replace him as an edge rusher.
Yeah.
So for Cleveland, this is a huge. They've dug such a huge hole with the Deshaun Watson, the contract. They've got to go get lots of players and redo their whole roster. So they got to take the best deal they can. All right, Josh Grizzard. I know this is a little old, but we haven't talked to you since he got the official nod. He was the guy you were pointing to all along. Why was he so much better than some of the other candidates? Obviously, continuity is king here. They don't have to change anything, and you just accept the play caller. That's about it, right? That's the key.
Yeah, and I think Todd Bowles has experience doing this. Go back to 2023 with Canales. He did those call-up periods and the OTAs and training camp. They really kind of prepped Dave for calling plays. And what I mean by call-up periods is typically in practice, it's like, all right, this is period 7. We're going to work on 3rd and longs, right? And a lot of times the offensive defensive coaches will get together, collaborate before practice and say, we want to see man looks. We want to see zone looks. We want to see fire blitzes with cornerbacks. And these are the things we want to see. And then Todd Bowles will sit there and incorporate those, right? And then it's like, you have a little bit of knowing what you're going to get, not the offensive players, but the coaches, right? And they want to see how they execute against certain looks. Call-up periods, there is no collaboration prior to those practices. It's, hey, in periods 5 through 8 today, we're going to be in different down and distances, maybe red zone, maybe goal line, whatever. And you're going to call your plays, and I'm going to call mine on offense and defense. And it's not going to be scripted. We don't know what's coming. We don't know what looks we can expect. And guess what? That's like a real life game, because that's how it is. And so that type of uncertainty, it makes you think on your feet. It makes you anticipate. It makes you kind of like study your opponent. What are they trying to set me up for something here? And that's as real life as it gets. That helped Dave Canales, and I think having Todd Bowles already kind of broken into rookie play callers. Cohen had some more experience at the SEC level, but I'm fine with the Josh Grizzard hire. He's incredibly smart. He was the engineer for all of the third down packages we saw. Bucs were best in the league, 51%. They had over 55%, I want to say, in the Commanders' playoff loss. So they excelled on that. He's the proven commodity. The collaboration, the camaraderie with the coaching staff is already there. Sometimes when you bring in an outside guy and you say, these are the guys you have to work with, right? We want to keep our coaches in place because our offensive line coaches leveled up the offensive line. Brian McClendon leveled up the receivers. Justin Peel leveled up the tight ends. Skip Pete leveled up the running backs. We want to keep all these guys in place with the players that they got to level up because it worked. And when you bring a new guy in, personalities might clash.
Right.
You know, well, he might have somebody in his ear. Man, you said when you get an offensive coordinator job, you'd hire me and bring me along. Hey, can I switch out this guy? I know I can't. Well, it just creates a little bit of angst sometimes. If you got a good thing going, don't fix what ain't broke. So
yeah,
I think that's what it really was. They keep the terminology, the verbiage, the concepts, the scheme, the system. Everything kind of stays in place. He is the guy that's going to be leading the orchestra now.
I love it. Lots of great stuff on Pewter Report from all the Senior Bowl stuff. Go take a look at that. Tell everybody how they can get your content, Scotty, and all the good stuff you got up there this week.
We've had a ton of video content lately on Pewter Report TV, our YouTube channel, which is growing by leaps and bounds. We're almost at 18,000 subscribers. Make sure that you visit our YouTube page, Pewter Report TV, and hit the subscribe button. It's free. We have Pewter Report podcasts 4 times a week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 4 o'clock. We'll have one today about the unsung heroes for the Buccaneers last year, looking ahead to 2025. Tomorrow is the Josh Grizzard press conference at 12:30. We'll have live reaction to that at 4 o'clock. So 4 o'clock Eastern time for all of our podcasts on Pewter Report TV. We'll have emergency podcasts when they're warranted as well.
Yes.
And then you can also read all of our content at pewterreport.com, the mothership. The coaching changes, the front office changes, Senior Bowl coverage. We're going to go to the Combine in a couple of weeks. We'll have that live coverage there. Free agency, the draft, we covered all at Pewter Report. And you can also follow us on social media on X, Facebook, and Instagram at Pewter Report.
All right, Scotty, great stuff. Thanks, partner. Appreciate it.
You got it,
We'll
man.
check in with you next week.
You got it.
I'll see you tomorrow at the presser. All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, Chris Latvala is going to join us, County Commissioner from Pinellas. We're going to talk some Rays Stadium, and we're going to talk about Rays baseball on the field, which is something he loves to talk about as well. So we'll get to that. A lot of good changes going on for the Rays. Who's making those decisions? We will talk about that. We're brought to you by Italiano Insurance, best customer service in the business. Get your insurance checkup right now. They could save you hundreds, maybe thousands of dollars on your car insurance, your business insurance, your home insurance, all your insurance needs. Get that great customer service, 813-877-7799. Back in 3. Stay with us.
Make this Valentine's Day a real hit by coming to Alessi Promotions Gloves and Roses, a night of professional boxing. We'll have something special for all the ladies. February 14th at the Downtown Hilton, experience professional boxing. Citrus County's own Drake Banks, a 7-0 heavyweight with 5 knockouts. And featuring our main event, an NBA title fight featuring undefeated Stephen Ray Jr. Get your tickets online at AlessiPromotions.com or scan the QR code and go directly to eTix.
Ciao, Paolo Tini here, owner of Caffè Paradiso, voted number 3 People's Choice Award on Open Table. I want to thank all our loyal family of customers that have been enjoying our great traditional Italian dishes we make from scratch every day. It's a great family story we're proud of. Our family moved from Rimini, Italy in 1984. My dad, Caesar, started Donatello, and that's where I got the start in the restaurant business. I started Caffè Paradiso on South McDill in 1995, and we've been there ever since. From our traditional ossobuco, a veal slow roast for 4 hours, to our daily fresh catch, the Gruppo Paradiso, with a piccata sauce and lobster claw meat, homemade pasta like lasagna, farfalle salchicha, which is a bow tie pasta homemade with fresh sausage. Hold on a minute, JP's favorite. I love it. So come and have a glass of wine with me on South McDill. Get a reservation on Open Table and see all our 5-star reviews. Ciao, see you soon at Paradiso.
So many of our Tampa Bay neighbors are finding out the hard way from Hurricane Helene that homeowners insurance does not cover flood damage. You must have flood insurance. It's a separate policy. Immediately call Italiano Insurance at 813-877-7799, and they will shop around to find the best policy before rates go up. Lock it in. Over 60% are underinsured in Florida, or you're not getting your discounts that you're entitled to. So do an insurance checkup at Italiano, and they could save you thousands of dollars. Italiano will make sure you're with a highly rated insurer, so there are no surprises in your time of need. Our hearts go out to all our neighbors devastated by Helene. These are the times we're proud to protect all the pieces of your life. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799. Old Hurricane Helene put a hurting on Tampa Bay, and for many of you, the rebuild will be a long process. You must beware of unscrupulous contractors offering up quick fixes for incredible prices. It's a scam. So go with long-standing, reputable companies like Third Generation Plumbing and AC. My friend John Rodriguez has been serving Tampa Bay since 1995 with hundreds of five-star reviews. If you need a new AC system or any home repairs from Helene, they will work with insurance companies to get you taken care of quickly, expertly installed, of course, and a 1-year maintenance plan and 10-year warranty included on all AC units. 0% financing for 60 months. Contact them at thirdgenerationplumbing.com or 813-961-8024. That's 813-961-8024, thirdgenerationplumbing.com.
Let's go! Right now. Back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here, brought to you by Cafe Paradiso. Have you made your Valentine's Day plans yet? If you have not, you better get on it. Go to Open Table, get that reservation number 3 on the Open Table list for top restaurants in Tampa Bay. Great traditional Italian. Go see Paolo Tini over there and tell him JP sent you. Have a glass of wine with Paolo. He's right there at the bar.
It's very enjoyable. He recommends great wine, too.
Yeah, he does. He knows his stuff. Mm-hmm. All right, let's bring in our good friend Chris Latvala from the Pinellas County Commission, baseball fan, first and foremost. What's up, Chris? How are you?
Hey, good morning. How you doing, JP?
I'm good. I'm looking forward to watching some baseball out in the sunshine. Hopefully with you, we'll catch a couple spring training games this spring. I love this time of year. And, man, just baseball outside. Oh, I cannot wait for this. This is going to be so exciting.
Yeah, especially in March and early April.
Yeah. Well, you're not looking forward to the July games at Steinbrenner? We're not going to go to one of those? No?
I go to a lot of Thresher games in Clearwater, but there's a lot of rainouts and a lot of sweaty games. Yeah, in the middle of the summer.
Yeah, but it's still baseball outside.
The beer is cheap and the hot dogs are cheap. So.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be that cheap over Steinbrenner. I've seen the prices already.
Yeah.
I don't think you're surprised though at all the premium seats are sold. $30,000 season tickets sold. $25,000 season tickets sold. I think they're all gone.
Yeah, I think they'll do well, especially early on in the season. So it's it'll be an exciting year, and I'm it'll be interesting to see the Tampa fans get to go to more games.
Yep. First of all, let's start with Rays Stadium. Any updates? Any shovels in the ground? You guys have approved all the bonds. Is Stu moving forward? Have they checked off any of their checklist yet?
This is day 50 of since the bonds were approved. And I think Stu is still debating on whether or not he wants to go forward. Since we last spoke, Orlando thinks they're going to get a team.
That's
they held a press conference last week. And, Barry Larkin got a job out of it, which congratulations to him. But, my biggest gleam from that press conference is the main guy in Orlando thinks that they could talk to the Rays come April 1st, and the Rays are just eligible to move then. He didn't understand that the Rays are tied to the drop until 28 or 29. So I would put the Rays moving to Orlando at less than 1% likely.
Yes. So that would, if this agreement is not fulfilled by March 31st by the Rays doing the things that they're supposed to do, their mandatory things that they have to do, then the old agreement goes back into place. Is that how that works? So they're there.
Yeah, and so they're still at the trot. So the current agreement is still in place. So they're not able to move. And so they still
even
talk to other markets.
Yeah.
They still, in order to talk to another market, you have to have MLB's permission. And so I'm not sure what MLB's attitude will be to a guy who wanted an agreement, got the agreement, signed the agreement, but then can't afford it and walked away from it. So, I think that the likelihood that Stu will sell the team goes way up after he walks away from a deal that he wanted and his team signed. And people compare this situation to Oakland, and it's apples to oranges. Don Fisher never signed an agreement in Oakland. The local government never financed it. And so, I think that, I will be very shocked if Stu fulfills his obligations. Maybe he does, and it'll be great for the fans if he does. But if he doesn't, I think he will sell the team, and the team will still stay in the Tampa Bay area, whether it's Pinellas or Hillsborough.
And what makes you think that? Ken Rosenthal, who's as plugged in as anybody, wrote an article. I don't think we've talked to you on air since that was written. He's got a direct pipeline to Commissioner Manfred, as plugged in as anybody. And he basically confirmed what we've been reporting for a while, that there is at least one group, I think two, that are trying to buy the Rays with Tampa ties, and they want to build in Tampa. Is that the sense that you still get?
Yeah, I think out of all of the different reporting in the media, especially like print reporting, Ken Rosenthal has been the closest by far.
Yeah.
And I think there was no accident that he was the one that reported it. And I think that was kind of the warning shot to the owner of the Rays, and that you really are at a crossroads. And I don't think that the commissioner of baseball is going to waste his time by getting, a couple county commissioners to flip their votes and, give us the talk that he gave us, and then say, okay, Stu, now you weren't able to fund this. You didn't want to fund this. What would you like to do now? That's not that was not the tone of the talk that Commissioner Manfred had with myself. I don't know what talk he had with Commissioner Eggers, but he didn't say, hey, vote for the bonds, and then when Stu comes back for more money, give him more money. No. It was, I'm committed to keeping baseball in Tampa Bay. I want to keep baseball in Tampa Bay, but in order for that to happen, I need the bonds to pass. And so I understood what he was getting at. So it, made my vote, pretty easy.
Chris Latvala joining us here, Pinellas County Commissioner. And to that end, let's just review real quickly here. So public money has been approved for over $600 million for this new stadium. Another $144 million in infrastructure. $50 million purchase of land that's probably worth $700 million. I'm just going over the highlights. All of this was given to Stu Sternberg. The greatest sweetheart deal, I've called it a boondoggle many times, in the history of not to say that Pinellas wouldn't get some return on it, but and still with all that, it's not enough. It's not enough. He needs more money from the city and the county. I think that's why Manfred was like, all right, we're done with this. He's never going to do a deal. If he's not going to do this deal, he's never going to do a deal. We need to move on. And he finally realized that Stu's been the issue, and maybe there are other people out there that want to build a stadium in Tampa or somewhere in the Tampa Bay area that can get this done. And I agree with him. I mean, I've had this opinion for quite some time, but I'm glad that they finally came around to it.
Yeah, and I think part of it was taking the microphone out of Stu's hands to an extent.
That's now
point. He can't go, to his friends in the, certain media outlet and say, these politicians are not allowing me to build a stadium. They're not, financing it. And then that gets shared to his other owners. He can't go to an owners meeting and say, the local politicians are not working with me. I need to be able to move. Well, now he can't do that. We've taken that away from him. And so the ball's firmly in his court. And, the best excuse he has is, well, they, delayed a vote that we didn't really delay. So the other excuse that he has is, well, a hurricane hit the stadium that we were playing in. Now we have to play at Steinbrenner, so we're going to be losing money, which was the excuse. And I believe that's the case. And had he used that from the very beginning, it could have had a different outcome.
Right.
But they were trying to blame, politicians. He was trying to gain an upper hand.
Right.
And it didn't work. And so now he's kind of stuck. And I think they never thought that we were going to switch our votes.
Right.
And it was a bad deal. And, I agree that it was a bad deal. But my vote for the bonds didn't really have to do with the deal. It had to do with, okay, well, this could mean that we lose baseball here.
Right.
If he's able to now go to other owners and he's able to use this in the media to drum up support to ultimately move in a few years.
Yeah. Great chess play by the county and the city to put the ball back in his court, knowing that he's not going to fund the stadium. Do you think that's true? Yesterday, the mayor said that they're fully prepared to move forward on March 31st when the Rays do not fulfill their end of the deal and show their financing and put the money in escrow, whatever those things are that they need to do. They're ready to move on. Do you think that's going to be the case?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think, Mayor Welch has played this as well as he could. He gave the Rays a very good deal on the Rays terms. The Rays got a lot. You mentioned everything that the Rays were getting to the point that I didn't agree with it because I thought it was too one-sided for the Rays.
Absolutely. Agreed.
And so, the mayor has done more than enough.
Yes.
And so if the Rays can't fulfill their obligations, it's time to move on. In April, my instructions to the county administrator is going to be there's no need to talk to the current owner.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell Barry, our county administrator, that the next time he talks to Commissioner Manfred, because our administrator is still in communications with Major League Baseball and with Commissioner Manfred, I'm going to tell him to tell the commissioner that we'll be glad to talk to the next owner.
Yeah.
But we can't deal with this guy because it's, the goalposts are going to constantly move. And once we come to an agreement, he will find a way to ask for more money because he's done that the last 15 years.
Yep, exactly. Absolutely. And is it your thought that are they going to repair the Trop? Is the city going to spend at least $56 million to do that? I know they had hoped to get some.
I mean, the city will. They're just not doing it on Stu's timetable. I think that, and this was part of Ken Rosenthal's article, that, people around here are fed up with the Rays owner. And, the mayor doesn't work for Stu. The city council doesn't work for Stu. The county commission doesn't work for Stu. And he's lost people that were his loyal supporters, people that would have done anything for the Rays a year ago, or he's lost them. And, they will repair it. And I believe they're going to repair it. But they're going to do it on their timetable. They're not going to do it on Stu Sternberg's timetable. So it just so happens that I believe the date for the city council to repair the Trop is March 27th. So you can make that make with that what you will. But it's not, it's not going to be on, the Rays timetable. And by the way, every year that they're out of the Trop, it adds a year on the back end.
To the lease. They have to stay.
Yeah. So they could be there into the 29 season.
Wow. All right. Let's, to finish off the stadium talk, at this point, we don't think that the Rays have not shown you guys any evidence that they're going to meet their obligations by March 31st, right? They've never shown you any evidence of the supposed $200 million cost overruns that they were supposed to pay for, but now refuse to pay for. Right. I know they're out there on the street trying to drum up more capital to cover that funding gap. And I think they've promised some folks 20% on their money. I've talked to some investors that have been approached about this, but the sense is there aren't any takers because nobody trusts Stewart in the business, which I think is pretty smart given what he's done to his partners as part of the past lawsuit and what he did with his partners here in Pinellas and St. Pete.
Yeah, they sent us a letter. One of the letters that they sent us after the first delay or the second delay, saying that they had spent $50 million. So I had asked our county attorney to, send them correspondence asking them to show us the $50 million that they had already spent. And the itemized list that they sent back totaled $11 million. And so, they say that they need, $100 to $200 million. They haven't given us a firm number, but they also haven't shown us what that equals to.
Yeah.
A massive construction project that's $1.3 million or $1.3 billion is not going to equal that number.
Yeah.
There will be cost overruns. That's just the nature of construction. I asked our stadium expert who's working for the city and county if a 1 or 2 month delay would equal $200 million. And this guy's done 25 stadium deals around the country, and he started laughing. And so and I did that during a public meeting.
I remember that. Yes.
And so, the Rays just kind of pick a number and say, we need that. And if you say, hey, how much more, what's the number that you need? They just say, we need more.
Yeah.
And so, I think if we gave them $100 million more, they would say they need more, because it will never be enough in their minds. And, I think that's what people are realizing.
And the other part about this is, for you guys, you have to redevelop the trop, or the city does, I guess, more. And the mayor said he's willing to go forward with that. And I think it would be a much better outcome in the end if it probably wasn't a baseball stadium, because there's so many things that they can do with it. And the county would be involved in that too, I'm guessing as well, right? But this could be a lot of legal, the Rays could also hold you up in court. And I still don't have a clear, because I remember watching one of the meetings here, Chris, and I think it was you or somebody asked the county attorney, if the stadium is not built, if that deal goes south, and it looks like it will the Rays still be able to get the real estate profits? And I thought I heard the county attorney say that's unclear. Right. At the point, but you're saying that if the deal goes south, they don't do their commitments by March 31st, they can't touch that. They won't get those real estate.
And that's what I've been told privately as well by our attorneys, our administrator. One thing that I'll say is that the Rays have turned in parts of different things that they were supposed to do of the 11 things, but because some of them are so
Right.
intricate, they can't. It's not like a high school term paper where you can turn it all in at midnight and say you're finished,
right?
The day that it's due, because our attorneys, the city and county staff has to go through and approve that everything is done,
right?
And so I think there's been kind of a halt the last couple of weeks of them really doing their assignments that they're supposed to get done. Right. The main thing being the liquid assets that they have to show.
So they won't get rights to the real estate if they don't go through with the stadium deal. Okay,
correct. They very well may try to sue the city.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking.
I would not be surprised because I think if they could make $1 off the backs of people that just suffered 2 hurricanes, they'll try to do it.
Yeah.
Clearly, because that's what they do. But I think the optics of that would be beyond horrible.
Not that they care, clearly, judging by some of the letters that they write after hurricanes. All right, hey, let's talk a little baseball. How do you like the Ha-Seong Kim addition? I wish he'd be healthy for week 1, but hopefully 1st of May. He'll be in there. That adds a little pop from the shortstop position, and a hell of a defender, a Gold Glove defender. I like this room.
It definitely stretches out the lineup.
Yes.
The offense was a big worry, and I thought that given Stu's, nature that they would be dismantling the team.
Yeah, me too.
Since he would be losing money. But
Uh-huh.
especially after the Springs trade, I
Yeah.
thought, that was kind of the start. Yandy would be next, and then some
Mhm.
other guys. But they really, they haven't done that. And I was worried that Jansen would be the only, addition, and no offense to Jansen, but that would not have been enough with the offense. But you add Kim, at the top of that lineup, that stretches it out. And especially after what Caminero did in the DR
Dominican,
this winter. If he's hitting moonshots at Steinbrenner, he can take a minute and a half to round the bases if he wants.
And that'll be just fine, by the way. Yeah, so I'm looking at the lineup. You got Yandy. I think obviously when Kim comes back, he's your leadoff guy. He's prototypical leadoff guy, which is something we haven't had in a long time.
Right.
I think that changes the whole dynamic of the lineup, by the way. Guy that can hit for average. Well, it's hit 243 average, but 703 OPS over his career. It's pretty good, especially for a shortstop. You get him at the top of the lineup, and you could put Yandy in the 2-hole. Brandon Lau, Josh Lowe. You suddenly this lineup looks completely different, and Caminero as well. And I think they may not be done. What's interesting is, and they also added Alex Faedo, a Tampa kid, which was a nice
and
addition.
the bullpen's our strongest part of the team, and I don't understand what Detroit was doing, DFAing Faedo, because he had a good year last year.
Yeah. And so it's interesting, though, that was the largest free agent contract they'd handed out since Greg Vaughn.
Yeah.
Okay.
I did not know that. I thought Eflin would have been bigger, but I guess his was only like 10 or 12 million a year.
The thing is, though, when I first saw that, I said, wow, they're committing $30 million here to a shortstop who's injured. I'm like, but he'll be okay. That doesn't sound like a Stu move.
But even if he opts out next year, I think we would still get a draft pick.
Yeah.
If we give him the qualifying offer.
Yeah. So and I said, wow, that's so un-Stu like. I wonder if maybe somebody else is pulling the strings now as far as spending money goes.
I mean, I believe that if going back to what we talked about earlier, I believe that if the deal does not go through, that the sale will be announced pretty quick.
I agree.
And I think that it could, if the deal does go through, it could be because of another owner. And so then there would be an announcement.
I agree.
Beforehand. So and I haven't even thought about that there could be, somebody else's money involved.
Yep.
Yeah. And maybe they're spending because they know that there's something afoot.
Yeah. Yeah. I love these theories. We know, we know nothing, but we know something. That would be fun. So I just, in general, I would like to see him add one more bat would really thicken up this lineup.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, if Josh Lowe can get back to 2 years ago, that's going to be huge. I don't know if that can happen, but the dude certainly has the talent to do so. And here's another thing, Chris, some guys, and Willie Adames is the most famous for this, just can't hit in that indoor environment. The lighting, it's just different. It's just different. Right. I wonder if the offense improves at all playing outside under those lights, some day games. I think it might. I think
Brandon Lau is a perfect example.
Yes. That's why I was bringing it up, especially with that short porch. He could have a huge year.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm excited to see how that whole thing goes down as well. These guys play better offensively outside. The lighting is better. We'll see how it goes. But with this pitching staff, and I'm thinking, Shane's going to be what Shane was when they come back. Sometimes they're even better after a Tommy John repair. They have more velocity, if you can imagine that. So I'm starting to get bullish on this team. I think the over-under is like 79.5. That was before they added.
And I would have taken the under a few weeks ago, thinking that they were going to be moving some veterans and try to save some money.
Agreed.
But
I'm going over.
They could be a potential wild card team.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think the Yankees and Orioles will be battling in the East, with the Yankees probably winning. But I think we could, battle for a wild card. And once you get in, anything can happen in October.
So, and speaking of local baseball players, I played a little golf yesterday with Kyle Tucker, formerly of the Astros.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the top 5 players in the game. Great young man, by the way. And he told me that he hated playing in the Trop because he'd have to ice his knees after every game. He said he's looking forward to playing outside. I don't even know if they're on the schedule this year, if they're coming to Tampa, the Cubs. But I can tell you this, he would love to play in Tampa in a new stadium. Where his home is at. He'll be a free agent next year after this final year with the Cubs. But so if there is new ownership and it's Tampa based, you're opening the doors to guys like that can completely change the tenor of this franchise. And I'm going to tell you, he
isn't his owner Boris though.
His agent? No, he is not a Boris guy.
Yeah, I'm sorry, his agent.
No, Jason Romano.
So
they're at XL Sports. Yeah, Jason Romano who played with us yesterday as well.
Well, then maybe we could get a discount.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if there's going to be a discount, but listen, we'll take Kyle Tucker at market value just to come here and be the linchpin. I mean, can you imagine a homegrown kid like that? And you got Faedo, and that's something that's always been missing from the Rays. They've never tapped into the local talent here and what that would mean to, coalescing the community together. You get a guy like Kyle Tucker and Faedo, and God forbid you get Alonso here for
Alonso's
Can you imagine?
Available.
Can you imagine?
Absolutely. Well,
Wow.
Speaking of the Cubs, I saw Bakota had the Cubs winning 90 games this year.
Yeah. How about that? Yeah. He's looking forward. We're going to get him on the show too. He's got a fundraiser coming up on Thursday night at Topgolf. So hopefully we can get him on the show tomorrow to preview that, but he would just be, you talk about that as a guy you can build a franchise around.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
With Caminero and, oh my God, what a team. What a team. We can only dream. We can only dream.
And speaking of dreaming, can you imagine the Rays if number 5 was still on the team?
Oh, wow.
We would be battling the Yankees.
Yeah, we would. Man, that is just the weirdest thing. Well, listen, let the justice system play out. Whatever's alleged is alleged, and it doesn't look good, doesn't sound good, but who knows what the future holds. But he won't be getting paid by the Rays, I can tell you. That. All right, Chris, anything else you want to add? Tell the folks out there.
No, sir. Looking forward to stadium talk being over and baseball talk starting.
Absolutely. Looking forward to catching the game with you. That'll be fun. Thanks,
absolutely.
partner. Appreciate it.
See you, my friend.
Chris Latvala from the Pinellas County Commission right there. It is absolutely just unprecedented, this whole situation and how it's gone down. I mean, when you look at everything that was put on the table for the Rays, and I look back, and when the deal was announced, and and they're all waving their pom-poms and everything, and I was like, not so fast. Not so fast. We don't even know what the numbers look like yet. Oh, the deal is done. They're going to stay in it. I'm like, we've heard this before. I've been at these press conferences. Nothing is over until the shovels are in the ground.
It's laughable.
It is. It is. And it's just, and again, nothing personal against Stu, nothing personal at all, but the way he's handled his business throughout all this is unprecedented.
Yeah.
It's unprecedented. And I'm hopeful. And I think you can hear from, Chris, and obviously there are things. Our man B, who's in here, has said, do you think Chris knows things he can't say? Yes, Chris knows things he can't say. I know things I can't say. We'll let it all play out. But I know this, that stadium in St. Pete is not getting built. It was never getting built. And I warned the good mayor before he got into all this. Realize who you're dealing with here. We've seen this. It's not going to end well for the city of St. Pete. Think of the time, the effort, and the money that has been wasted in this wild goose chase, trying to give this guy everything he wanted, and it still wasn't enough. It still wasn't enough. Insane.
Yeah, it's, and a lot of this hasn't gone out, nationally, like all this news, all this dirt. It's a local story. It's not really a national story. So it's sort of, and thank God for Tampa Bay, right? This is, if this became a national story, and it probably will at some point, even maybe if it's after the fact when you make your 30 for 30.
Yes.
It's going to be a point of just laughter for a lot of cities around the country that didn't have to deal with this. It's, and it'll make I think some other fans of other franchises maybe appreciate their owners a little bit.
Yeah.
It should, at least. So
I agree.
This is just every day we talk about this, JP. It boggles my mind that this is even a thing.
Well, from a national
day and age.
perspective, and that's what has always bothered me is a national perspective is, the Rays don't draw, they win games, poor Stu, fans are terrible, local governments won't support them and build them a stadium. And it's such and this is probably what you thought before you got into all this shenanigans with us. And it's such the absolute opposite of that. And that's what always made me so frustrated. And that's why I was so pleased to read that Ken Rosenthal column. I remember waking up in bed, reading that, and Ashley sitting next to me. I'm reading the article, just hooting and hollering. She's like, what the hell are you reading? I'm like, well, for 5 years, 10 years, I've been telling everybody about Stu, and he's the issue. And finally, Ken Rosenthal has put it in print. And it's all there for everybody to know now. Everybody, there's no more cover for, as Chris just said, there's no more cover for him. Even his biggest allies in the city of St. Pete have now realized what it's all about. So he's out of options, and his only option now is to sell the team. And I think, he's probably trying to suck every single dollar out of it and trying to leave Tampa Bay with nothing to use going forward. Yeah. Because he's already taken some of the money out of the TV deal. So there's a lot that needs to be put back together. And the more he charges, the less money they're going to have to operate the team. So it'll all be about his self-interest. MLB will have to probably get involved and say, no, you can't sell the team for $3 billion. It's not worth that. You can't hold it hostage. We want to move everything forward. Just get fair price and get the hell out. Yeah. And hopefully that happens in the next month or so before this deadline. And we've seen little crumbs, I think. The Rosenthal article was the first big piece of meat. But after that, now the Rays, now MLB has sent somebody down here to oversee the repair of the trop. Wink, wink. Okay. We see and hear about these groups in Tampa that want to buy the team. So all these little crumbs are coming out, and obviously the team playing in Tampa was a big priority for Major League Baseball to get that done at Steinbrenner. We always said that's where they're going to play, and now it's going to be, it's stuff we already knew. All right, it's going to be popular in Tampa. It's going to be easier to get to. This is where it should be. But watching it play out now and watching the vibe and people being able to witness the whole thing will solidify this whole concept and say, yeah. And by the way, premium seating, all sold out. I mean, remember when they first announced Steinbrenner, had all these comments from St. Pete people, okay, Tampa, your turn. Let's see if you can put up the money. Let's see if you actually support the team. How's that going? Sold out. Doubled the prices, tripled the prices, still sold out. I mean, again, it's not rocket science.
And that's why I've said I'm so excited for baseball fans in Tampa to not just have their team playing in their city, but to experience outdoor Major League Baseball for the first time, because it's going to be something a lot of those people have never seen before. And I know they probably will have to, but they're not going to want to go back to an indoor stadium.
All right, we got some great comments lining up on Chris's interview.
1,000 comments.
So we will take a quick break and we'll come back and do comments. Thank you guys for jumping in and being part of the show. We love you. So let's take a quick break. We're brought to you by the Gold and Diamond Source. It's Valentine's Day coming up, guys. Make sure you get your shopping done at the Gold and Diamond Source. They've got the best deals. They've got the best selection. They've got the best customer service. You go in, you get it done. Tell them what your budget is. They wrap it up nice for you. You don't have to worry about a damn thing. It looks like you did a lot of shopping and put a lot of thought into it. You really didn't. All you got to do is go to the Gold and Diamond Source, and they will love you for it. And get those gift cards as well. The Gold and Diamond Source, your only place to go for Valentine's shopping. Back in 3. Stay with us. Hey, JP here for my concierge medical professional, Chris Lugo, PA. You've heard him on the show for a couple of years where he shares invaluable medical, nutritional, and supplement advice. With Chris, it's like having a medical provider as your best friend. What I love about this concierge service is the convenience and support he offers. I can text or call him 24/7 with any questions or concerns, and he'll promptly call in a prescription if needed. No office visits or copays required. It gives me peace of mind knowing I have someone genuinely invested in my health, not just focused on insurance profits. And the best part, the Bay Area Modern Medical Center's personal concierge service is more affordable than you might think. Don't let insurance companies dictate your health care. Take control of your health and wellness today. Visit BAMMC.com for more information and to schedule your initial free consultation. Empower yourself and take charge of your personal health with BAMMC.com. Hey guys, why not kick off 2025 by popping the question? Yes, and you know where to get that perfect engagement ring. It's the Gold and Diamond Source. The best prices, the best quality, and yes, get her a real diamond. You don't want to go with the fake stuff. And January's birthstone is garnet for all you FSU fans, right? Get 15% off all the unforgettable garnet jewelry at the Gold and Diamond Source. Also, discover Emilique by Emily Johnson Weintraub, a sleek and modern jewelry line that makes everyday gifts extraordinary. And don't forget, you have any unused gold? Turn it into cash or a stunning new piece. With gold prices soaring, there's no better time to trade up. You can do it all at the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Omerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
This Valentine's Day, a real hit by coming to Alessi Promotions Gloves and Roses, a night of professional boxing. We'll have something special for all the ladies. February 14th at the Downtown Hilton, experience professional boxing. Citrus County's own Drake Banks, a 7-0 heavyweight with 5 knockouts. And featuring our main event, an NBA title fight featuring undefeated Stephen Ray Jr. Get your tickets online at AlessiPromotions.com or scan the QR code and go directly to eTix.
JP here for the Jeeves Law Group and my man Scott Jeeves. If you're going to hire an attorney, do you want some guy looking for a quick settlement and a quick buck, or do you want an attorney with some chops? Scott is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator. Been practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. He is a peer-reviewed AV preeminent-rated civil trial lawyer. They just don't hand out those classifications. He's been the lead class action counsel on many complex consumer protection cases and has handled hundreds of serious personal injury cases. He's dedicated his career to protecting injured victims and is committed to vigorously representing you. We're local, we're trusted, and we get results. Personal injury and personal attention. Call for a free case evaluation. That's 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. The Jeeves Law Group.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here on this Hump Day Wednesday. Scott Reynolds, Chris Latvala in our first hour. We got Paul Stewart from across the pond coming up. We're going to relive the 2 big Super Bowl wins by the Buccaneers with their official historian.
Good day, mate.
And talk about some other crazy stuff. That's coming up at 11:30. So we got lots more to show you. And John Gerber's going to give us his picks today, too. It's is it Waste Management Weekend?
Yeah, Johnny was already pissed that you didn't mention him at the top of the show. I got a dirty text from him. He's like, oh, did he forget I'm on the show? Thanks a lot for the mention. I'm like, dude, this is JP, okay? He barely remembers what day it is, okay?
Exactly. I was like, is it Thursday? Is it Wednesday? Is it Wednesday? Is it Thursday? I don't know. I told him we could come on earlier if he wants to, and he's already up. Wow.
And he's at Pebble. He's going to be live from Pebble.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, good. I hope we got a good view in the background. That'll be good. That'll be
Probably
cool.
in his hotel room.
I know.
Looking at dirty magazines or something. I don't know what he does.
Set up a nice shot, John. All right. See, we're promoting you now at the top of the 11. All right. Yeah. There we go. All right. Let's get to some of these great comments here. We thank you guys for jumping in. James, I'm sorry. We're not going to talk about Liam anymore and how he left.
Although he did. Look, James had a comment early in the show. He's like, I can't remember what it said. It said something about, why do y'all keep apologizing for Liam Cohen? I don't remember us at any point apologizing for Liam Cohen and saying that what he did was okay.
No, we've said a million times he handled it poorly. All we did say is that's reality. That's how it works in the NFL. He's not the first one and won't be the last to ghost people and do things. Doesn't make it right. It's just the way things work, and it will certainly pan out whether the Bucs did the right thing or the wrong thing. They had their choice, Todd Bowles or Liam Cohen. They chose Todd Bowles. That's just the way it went. And you could talk about how everything went down and all that stuff, but that's the bottom line. It's a bottom line business, and we'll see who made the right choice and how it went down. It appears that the Bucs made the right choice. So we'll see. Yeezy says Cooch is carrying this team to the playoffs. Well, yeah, if he stays healthy, and he's playing a lot of ice time and he needs help. And I think Julian Breeze-Bois is going to go get it for him. So last night's win was huge, and we'll get into that a little bit.
Yeah.
Easy said you could get into the game yesterday for $14 2 hours before the puck drop. Wow. Yeah, Lightning tickets are available now. You know, the economy being what it is, I think a lot of people don't have as much disposable income anymore. So, yeah, if you want to get into Lightning games and you haven't been able to get good seats or whatever, now is the time. They are available, and you can get them from the box office without Ticketmaster fees, I'm pretty sure. So go do that. All right, James says, I go back to Simeon Rice signing. Bucs organization will do whatever it takes. Elite edge puts Bucs over the top, but I'm okay with Hendrickson or Crosby. One thing for sure, the Bucs will sign or trade for elite edge. I agree. I think they're going to get a veteran edge rusher, and I think they're going to draft one. I think that's the best way to go. Can't have enough. John Hill says, any truth to the rumor that Bucs may be interested in bringing back Carlton Davis, free agent from the Lions? I don't think so. I think that ship has sailed. I don't know why you would want to bring him back. I think we need to go find guys that can catch the football. Although he did have some picks with. He did. Yeah. Maybe it's just a curse of Bucs defensive back. Ed Gein, great to see you in here. I'm not seeing you in here before. I think Braswell will develop.
Can only hope at this point, right?
I mean, I just didn't see a lot of flash from him. You know, great shows up early, so I don't think he's going to be great. I think he has a chance to be decent. He's a hard worker. He's a plugger. I didn't see, elite edge rushing ability. So I think, he can have a role on this team. No question about it. James says Mack is 34 and had 6 sacks. No way the Bucs only do that. I don't think so. But like I said, a veteran and draft a guy. Bucs have drafted edge, and where are we? Well, they haven't used a really premium pick on an edge rusher. So
it's been a while.
And maybe they'll move up to get one. Maybe they'll do that. Rick says we can count on Todd to develop young pass rushers, right? Oh, wait. Go get Garrett and Mack. It's true. And again, I'm thinking JTS was at the end of the first round. And Logan Hall was, a top of the second round guy. Not that he was an edge rusher. They just haven't really invested a premium pick in it. So,
I mean, but do you think that they thought they were investing a premium pick when they drafted Braswell last year with the number 57 overall?
I wouldn't call that a premium pick. Like I'm talking top 10, top 15. I would say the 19th pick is close to a premium. I think premium, I would say it's top 10 pick.
When's the last time they had a top 10 pick?
It's been a while.
Yeah.
James says Bucs are elite edge from going deep into playoffs, so that's why it will happen. Khalil Mack, no way. I got to go do more research on Khalil Mack. I watched a couple of his games and I saw him flash.
Yeah,
but he is older. I'm thinking back at Dwight Freeney. Dwight Freeney at the age of like 34, 35, as I recall. He was signed. He kept signing those 1-year deals, and he would get like 12 sacks, right?
Yeah,
12 sacks, but he would, it was situational. He probably only played like 25, 30 snaps. So I'm thinking that's the type of guy. Yeah. And I don't know if Khalil Mack is that still, but that's kind of like what I'm looking for. Nathan Elliott, who I saw last night at the hockey game and gave him a little tour of the studio. It's good to see you, Nathan. Said Bucs should sign a free agent edge rusher and draft one to learn and compete against the veteran. Absolutely. What else we got here? James is lighting it up. I want to give everybody else a try here. Rick says the only shoveling by Stu was all the BS he's been trying to move for years. That's for damn sure.
Paul Stewart tells us the last top 10 pick was Devin White in 2019.
Yeah, which I said you should go for the edge rusher, who was Josh Allen, was available. Not the quarterback, the other guy.
Yeah, the other Josh Allen.
That would have been nice, huh?
It's pretty good. But good. Would he have been as good under Todd Bowles?
It's a good question. Rick said St. Pete Mayor has changed his tune. I guess he could no longer access his offshore accounts. Oh. Thomas Casper says no $50 million to Ken Welch. What? What's he talking about? What was in that agreement? Was that $50 million for the museum? The African American Museum? $50 million? That's a lot of money. It's a lot of money for a museum.
For a museum? It's a lot of money for anything.
It's a lot of money. That's
except for
a really nice museum.
Except for an edge rusher.
Yeah. Yeah, you can barely get anything for $50 million these days. James says, JP, awesome interview with Chris. TBT reporters should be ashamed, and they know who they are. I think Colleen Wright's done a great job. She's done a really good job of reporting the news and not getting snowed under by the Rays. I think she's done a great job. He says FEMA is at the Trop right now.
I doubt that very seriously. Pictures it didn't happen, B.
I don't think in the current climate of Doge that FEMA's going to be handing out money so a billionaire can play baseball in a stadium that's going to be destroyed in 2-3 years. I could be wrong, Lord knows they spend federal money on stupid things.
I'd be surprised if FEMA even exists in a year.
I don't think like you look at the Superdome situation and they got FEMA money, but that whole area depends on the Superdome to bring Super Bowls and national championship games and everything to them. That's not what the Rays Stadium's doing. The economy is not built around the Rays Stadium in St. Pete, not even close. So I think it's a tough sell, but Lord knows it's been anything. John Hill says, at the same vein, the Rays pitching stats could get worse. Outside visitor teams have a more difficult time hitting in the Trop than the Rays. That's true. That's a good point. It should always have been a home field advantage to Trop the indoors. And it has been. It has been for some time. But I don't know. We'll see if I just want to see a better offense. If both teams have a better offense, fine. This games can be so freaking boring. Danielle Rivera, good morning to you, said, JP, I can tell you this listening to what Latvala said. MLB is driving this bus right now, and you better believe they're working behind the scenes to find an ownership group here. I know they are. They absolutely are. We read the Ken Rosenthal article. Ken Rosenthal said it. There's groups in Tampa that are trying to buy the team and build in Tampa. That's what he said. We know this is going on. It's what I've been reporting for a long while. I talked to some people yesterday, and the group is moving forward. But it's everything dealing with Stu is hard. He makes everything super difficult. And what should have been an easy sell is always going to be hard. Daniel says, I wonder if the mystery billionaire is part of one of those groups wanting to buy the Rays. I wish I could tell you, Daniel, but I cannot. I've been sworn to secrecy until the time comes.
We can confirm that it's not me.
You can do the math. You can do the math. Rick said Lowe just hurt his back just thinking about hitting its Steinbrenner field. No, I think he's going to be excited. I wonder if they've taken any. Well, they've played over there before, so it's not like they've played spring training games over there lots of times, so they know what it's all about. MLB is going to force him to do that. I think so too, and I think, like I said, this Ha-Seong Kim thing came out of nowhere. And it's a large expenditure, very and the fact that Yandy hasn't been traded, I think is also interesting. I think Chris was absolutely right. This was headed towards a complete fire sale last year and this offseason, and something changed. Something changed. I wonder what that is. Could there be new ownership pulling the strings? Daniel Rivera says Eber will get done very quickly once a new Rays owner comes in. Christopher Cole says the Cubs will re-sign Tucker. You think that? I think they will too. Why would they give up, a lot to get him and not re-sign him? But, he has a choice. He would have a choice. And if there's a new ownership group in Tampa and there's a new Tampa stadium on the board, who knows?
Yep.
Again, his agent Jason Romano is a Tampa guy, XL Sports. So and I can tell you, playing golf with Kyle yesterday, he loves Tampa. He's building a home here, a huge home in Palmacia. and he loves it here. He's all about this. He and his wife grew up here. They're not I said that about Liam too, didn't I?
He ain't leaving. He ain't effing leaving.
Yeah.
Jinx.
Yeah. So there you go. Nathan says pressure creates turnovers. Fix the pass rush, and the picks will happen. It won't matter who's in the secondary.
Well, they have to catch.
But they still
have to catch the ball, Nathan. Can't hit him right in the hands and then fall to the ground.
James, you're not censored for well thought out takes. It's just we have limited time, and I can't. You are a wonderful poster, and I love everything you send us. I just can't read everything. It's good stuff.
We actually get more laughs on your comments off the air.
Yes, absolutely. All right, one more from James. Said Bucs won a Super Bowl with Brad Johnson at quarterback and an elite D. It can happen in Dallas as well. Heck, Cowboys are 5-2 or 5-3 with Cooper and a huge dose of Rico Dowdle. Why not?
Just stop.
See, Tim's going to censor you now, James, for bad Cowboys takes. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, Paul Stewart's going to join us from buckpower.com across the pond. Not only will we talk about the Bucs history and Super Bowl, which I love reliving the Super Bowls, but we're going to talk about some crazy-ass sports they got going on over in the UK, which I love. He sent me a video of one of them. I think we have video of this, and he's going to have to explain this stuff. So, Lord knows, these drunks over there, when they get a few pints in them, Lord knows what's going to happen. So we'll try to decipher all this when we come back. Paul Stewart of buckpower.com will join us. Stay with us.
Make this Valentine's Day a real hit by coming to Alessi Promotions Gloves and Roses, a night of professional boxing. We'll have something special for all the ladies. February 14th at the Downtown Hilton, experience professional boxing. Citrus County's own Drake Banks, a 7-0 heavyweight with 5 knockouts. And featuring our main event, an NBA title fight featuring undefeated Stephen Ray Jr. Get your tickets online at AlessiPromotions.com or scan the QR code and go directly to eTix.
Old Hurricane Helene put a hurting on Tampa Bay, and for many of you, the rebuild will be a long process. You must beware of unscrupulous contractors offering up quick fixes for incredible prices. It's a scam. So go with long-standing reputable companies like Third Generation Plumbing and AC. My friend John Rodriguez has been serving Tampa Bay since 1995 with hundreds of 5-star reviews. If you need a new AC system or any home repairs from Helene, they will work with insurance companies to get you taken care of quickly, expertly installed, of course, and a 1-year maintenance plan and 10-year warranty included on all AC units. 0% financing for 60 months. Contact them at thirdgenerationplumbing.com or 813-961-8024. That's 813-961-8024, thirdgenerationplumbing.com. So many of our Tampa Bay neighbors are finding out the hard way from Hurricane Helene that homeowners insurance does not cover flood damage. You must have flood insurance. It's a separate policy. Immediately call Italiano Insurance at 813-877-7799, and they will shop around to find the best policy before rates go up. Lock it in. Over 60% are underinsured in Florida, or you're not getting your discounts that you're entitled to. So do an insurance checkup at Italiano, and they could save you thousands of dollars. Italiano will make sure you're with a highly rated insurer, so there are no surprises in your time of need. Our hearts go out to all our neighbors devastated by Helene. These are the times we're proud to protect all the pieces of your life. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799.
Ciao, Paolo Tini here, owner of Caffè Paradiso, voted number 3 People's Choice Award on Open Table. I want to thank all our loyal family of customers that have been enjoying our great traditional Italian dishes we make from scratch every day. It's a great family story we're proud of. Our family moved from Rimini, Italy in 1984. My dad, Caesar, started Donatello, and that's where I got the start in the restaurant business. I started Caffè Paradiso on South McDill in 1995, and we've been there ever since. From our traditional ossobuco, a veal slow roast for 4 hours, to our daily fresh catch, the Gruppo Paradiso, with a piccata sauce and lobster claw meat, homemade pasta like lasagna, farfalle salchicha, which is a bow tie pasta homemade with fresh sausage. Hold on a minute, JP's favorite. I love it. So come and have a glass of wine with me on South McDill. Get a reservation on Open Table and see all our 5-star reviews. Ciao, see you soon at Paradiso.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here on this February 5th. We're, 9 days away from Valentine's Day? And at the Golden Diamond Source, they got a great promotion going on. Buy one, get one 40% off. Buy one piece of jewelry, get the second at 40% off during our exclusive Valentine's promotion. Celebrate love with timeless elegance. Express your love with exquisite jewelry from the Gold and Diamond Source. Only natural diamonds, folks. It takes billions of years to form natural diamonds. You don't want something that was made in a factory a couple of weeks ago. So if you're not sure where to start, the expert staff at the Golden Diamond Source are here to help you find the perfect gift with personalized service that will make your shopping experience seamless and enjoyable. Buy one, get one 40% off the Valentine's Day promotion at the Gold and Diamond Source. All right, let's welcome in from across the pond our good friend from buckpower.com, the great Paul Stewart. Are you the official historian of the Buccaneers at this point? Because I want to affirm you as the official historian. Can we do that?
The Buccaneer historical expert, I think we'll go with. Yeah, very good morning to you guys. My day started watching the Bolts win overnight. Perfect start to the day. It's all going well so far, JP. Yeah,
that was a big win last night. They got off to kind of an okay start. They got behind, but then they even got a power play goal last night from Kucherov. Glendening got a nice goal, so a little secondary scoring there. And Vasilevsky is really, really getting fine-tuned right now and has been fantastic. And in the third period, Hagel gets that big goal, gives them the lead, and they lock it down. And Vasi got some saves. That was a huge win over Ottawa. Had to have it. So I'm glad you were able to. So you get up, you watch these live in the middle of the night?
No, I have an NHL TV subscription, so I watch the game the following morning. So I don't know the score. I stay off social media. I don't update Buck Power until I've watched the Lightning game. So over my breakfast this morning, I sat and watched the game. I can listen to Dave and Brian do the commentary, no matter whether it's home or away. And yeah, I jump the commercials, jump the intermissions, and celebrate a Lightning win. And if we win, I'm really happy. If we don't, I go and look for a cat to kick.
Good, because cats are disgusting creatures.
Yeah, that's good. All right, so one of the reasons I want to have you on during Super Bowl week is to kind of relive those Super Bowls. And I was so privileged to be working at Channel 8 at the time that the Bucs won their first Super Bowl, and leading all the way up to it. The Dungy years, that kind of built that character, built that culture, built that roster, built that defense. And then Gruden coming in and putting them over the top. It was a really interesting time to be kind of a beat writer, beat reporter for the Buccaneers. What are your recollections on how that all came to be, taking us from the Yuccaneers to Super Bowl champions for the first time?
It was great. I mean, 97 was a good season because we hadn't had a winning year for 14 years. So we suddenly started winning, and this is great. And we were in the playoffs. Then, of course, you have getting really close against the Rams in 99. Then you have the two defeats in Philadelphia. And you wonder what's going to happen. Has the window of opportunity gone? And I was working for British television. I was covering the NFL games for British TV that year. So when it came to the playoffs in 2002 and the Super Bowl run, what you've got to remember is everything fell right for the Buccaneers on that run. The very last week of the season, Brad Johnson was hurt. And the Packers owned the number 2 seed, which gave them a bye. Well, the Packers lost to the Jets. Chad Pennington, of all people, threw 4 touchdown passes. The Bucs then played on the Sunday night in Chicago, a game played in Illinois, and they won 15-zip, 5 field goals with Rob, the human sack machine Johnson, playing QB. Because they won that, they earned the bye week, and Brad Johnson got healthy. They then play the 49ers. They'd had their own miracle the previous week to beat the Giants. So the Bucs beat the Niners pretty easily. They then go to Philadelphia. And Philadelphia was so guilty of looking ahead to the Super Bowl, especially on the opening kickoff went 80 yards. And they then scored straight away. So they're 7-0 up inside a minute. And the Philadelphia players have admitted this. They were already making their reservations to San Diego. And the Bucs punched them in the mouth enough times. By the time they realised it was 20-10, and that famous NFL passing combination of McNabb to Barber struck again.
Yeah, that play, I remember, Rich McKay was sitting right behind me back in the day that he would love sitting in the press box and like listening to the banter of the reporters just to kind of get a feel. And from time to time, you just turn around, if there was a play or something, you just look at Rich's reaction to what's going on. And as that game was going on, he wore his heart on his sleeve too. You can, he wasn't hiding anything. And then there was the Juravicious play that kind of got the Bucs back into the game. Little crossing route, Brad hit him right in stride, and he's going down. And that turned the entire tide of that game. You remember it well, I'm sure.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. And so
it was 3rd and 6, 71 yards. You go, Joe, was Gene's commentary. What was great about that game, JP, is I worked the previous week, the Bucs 49ers game. I did the live coverage for that on British TV. When it came to the NFC Championship game and the AFC one, I said I do not want to do this game because I was so convinced the Bucs were going to lose. I did not want to be in the studio for 7 hours being really upset of being that close to a Super Bowl. So I didn't do the game. I was sitting at home. When Rondé scored, they came back to the studio and all they were talking about was that if I'd been there, I'd have gone through the roof celebrating.
Yes.
They then phoned me up at my home to go live. And I couldn't talk. I was crying my eyes out. I was so emotional that the Bucs were going to be in the Super Bowl. And all I heard from the studio was, see you next week in San Diego. And sure enough, the following week I was there. I was watching the game live.
Nice.
Yeah, that moment I was sitting in the press box and Rondé makes his play. So then we go get on the elevator, take our lives into our own hand in that stadium, get on the elevator and head down. And I think Tiki was working. He may have been working the game for somebody because we went by their little NBC Sports outpost there. And he was going bananas. And we get down to the sideline for the last couple of minutes. And, and Rondé's like, F the Pro Bowl. Because remember, he got snubbed for the Pro Bowl that year. And I think he had 10 interceptions, led the league. He said, F the Pro Bowl. I'm going to the effing Super Bowl. And it's like, and he threw it. He had the ball and he threw it to our producer, Dave Cook, for safekeeping. So we had the ball. And he came out and did his interview with us on Channel 8, and we're like, he was make sure you hold on to that. So, I'm like, don't worry about it.
Just over my shoulder, I've got a picture of that of Rondé's play, which he signed for me. And it's
yes.
I did a countdown of the top 100 plays in Buccaneer history a few years ago, and Rondé's play is the number one play in Buc history. There's not even close to it. I've got Derek Brooks' interception in the Super Bowl at number 2 and Michael Spurlock's kick return at 3. And
Nice.
I think Joe Vicious's play was in the top 10. But Rondé's play, biggest moment in Buccaneer history. And it took me to Qualcomm Stadium and I was there watching it live.
Yes. Speaking of Qualcomm Stadium, Tim, do you have a question for Paul? Because I'm going to go get something in the other room here.
Yeah.
A little piece of memorabilia. So you guys go ahead for a second.
Yeah. Paul, that wasn't your stereotypical Super Bowl winning team. I don't think going into the season. I don't know that anybody picked the Bucs to go all the way with Gruden having just come over. And, Brad Johnson's one of my favorite quarterbacks of all time. He was on my on many of my fantasy football teams way back in the day, even his days in Minnesota. I always had him and he always did well for me, but I don't think he was your prototypical Super Bowl winning quarterback. So going into the season, expectations were for them to be good with Gruden there, but I don't know that anybody expected them to do what they did. And especially in the Super Bowl against Oakland and Bill Callahan, and for Johnson to have the performance that he did in the game. They put up 48 points. How much more satisfying was it because of the situation with Gruden and Johnson at quarterback and for them to win the way that they did?
I think it's just everything fell together, Tim. I mean, I love Brad. Brad's one of my best friends. I've played touch football with him in London. We had an event at Wembley Stadium many years ago, and he still owes me a picture to go on this wall, by the way. JP's up there, but I haven't got Brad Johnson up there. His job was, I don't want to use game manager because that's wrong, because he was more than that. But his job was just basically keep the offense ticking. Gruden changed the whole offense. I mean, I love, when people say, Gruden only won with Dungy's team, it's just completely untrue. And Warren Sapp had the right phrase. He said, Dungy baked the cake, Gruden took it out of the oven and put the icing on top. And and I've always said, the Bucs would not have won the Super Bowl with Tony Dungy. They would not have won it without him. So, yeah, it was a fantastic day. Everything worked really well. What's quite interesting is in the Super Bowl, the Bucs had 3 interception returns for touchdowns. In the Bucs' first ever win in 1977, they had 3 interception returns for touchdown. Symmetry.
Wow.
This is why we get you on. Yes, I brought this out. This was like the seat cushion from San Diego. Like when
I've got one of those.
Yeah,
yeah. One of them.
Yeah, so this was from San Diego, sitting up in the we were in the overflow press box in like section 305 of Qualcomm Stadium, which I think they just demolished. It was a beautiful day. I remember it well. It's a gorgeous day, and San Diego day. And it didn't start well for the Buccaneers. Brad threw an early interception, and the Raiders took an early lead. Yeah, and then the Bucs defense just kind of took over. And then right before the half, Brad throws his back shoulder. This is before back shoulders were kind of fashionable. He and Keenan McCardell was one of the best route runners in the history of the game. And he ran this little back shoulder on Charles Woodson. And Brad threw a perfect throw down and away, and they scored just before the half. And I kind of gave him a 3-score lead, if I'm not mistaken. That kind of game wasn't over, obviously, by any such stretch of the imagination, but that was a huge play. And the offense was just so much better under Gruden, and that was Tony's nemesis. He can never pair it up right, and that was it was great magic. And watching those guys celebrate and having seeing them work this, it wasn't a 1-year deal. It went all the way back to 95 when Derek and Sapp were drafted. That was kind of the culmination of the whole thing, right, Paul?
Yeah, it was. It was a long stay to say, I've got my picture. I got to hold the Super Bowl trophy a couple of years after that one. And yeah, it's one of those great memories. And as I said, what was interesting, if we move on now to 2020 Super Bowl, is that was really strange for me because obviously it's during the COVID year. The Bucs actually had a ticket for me for Raymond James Stadium, and I couldn't fly. I looked at every possibility, going to Cuba and smuggling myself in, crossing the wire in Texas. I would have done everything to get there. So the second Super Bowl never really felt special to me because I was just sitting there watching it on my own going, yeah, okay. And it was only, again, when I was over there 18 months ago, blindfold arranged for both trophies, not the replicas, but the real trophies to come out. And I got my picture taken with both trophies. Nice. It meant special. But again, that 2020 Super Bowl run, everything fell right for the Bucs. Because I remember you and I talking during that season. Brady was really struggling going into the bye week. He was missing plays all over the place. They then go on a winning streak. They then go to Washington and survive a game they could easily have lost against Taylor Heineke. They go to New Orleans. There's no fans in the stands. So there's no home field advantage for the Saints. And Drew Brees decided to start throwing the ball to the Bucs defensive backs. And they caught them before you
They caught them,
guys.
yes.
They caught them. And then they go to Green Bay, where, again, there's absolutely no fans, hardly any fans in the stand. They had a big lead at half-time. Brady was awful in the second half of that Green Bay game. And to be honest, if it hadn't been for the Packers screwing up some of the coaching decisions, we could easily have lost it. But then again, we get there. We get to the Super Bowl in our own stadium. And don't forget, Patrick Mahomes had no starting tackles. They were down to their 4th and 5th string tackles in that game, which was why every Buccaneer edge rusher, I like that phrase, Buccaneer edge rusher was in the backfield. Mahomes had nowhere to go. And he did miracles to even get 3 field goals. So, yes, the Bucs won the Super Bowl, but like with any team, things have to go right for you in the postseason. You've got to be in it to win it. The Bucs got in there and things fell for them. And that's why there's 2 Vince Lombardi trophies in one Buc place.
Yeah. Yeah, the Brady season was so magical. First of all, getting him and the whole thrill of that. And the team, early on, the offense wasn't great, but they just, very much like the first Super Bowl season, the defense carried them. And then the offense kind of found their footing, about 5-6 games in and really took off at that point. And it was great. They played great complementary football. And, just watching Brady to me, the signature play of that Super Bowl was Brady to Gronk for that first touchdown. That's the one I remember. I'm like, this is gonna be good. But it was weird not having a full stadium, and all, as we look back on all that silliness, just crazy. It's just it will never feel like 2002. We're not going to give any short shrift to 2020. But it will never feel like 2002 to me. If I had to rank them, 2002 is far better, but better. No question about it. What about you?
Well, it was the first, right? So that lends to something to that.
Yeah. I've always thought that, and to be honest, I mean, it's funny. I don't get massively upset if the Bucs lose. I don't get massively excited if they win. I don't know if it's just because of age, but it's almost because we got to the top of the mountain. And once you've been to the top of the mountain, well, everything else is an afterthought, no matter how many times you win. And I know it's interesting. You know, I remember talking to some Patriots fans. They kept winning Super Bowls. It's like, oh, ho, hum, we've won another Super Bowl. Can you imagine what it would mean to a Minnesota Vikings fan or a Buffalo Bills fan? I didn't say Dallas there, Tim. No, I'll let you off that one. If Minnesota or Buffalo got to the Super Bowl and they won, can you imagine what it would mean to those fans? It would be like the Cubs when they won the World Series. That's what sport's about.
Yeah, I've never been a Buffalo fan of anything, but before I die, I want to see Bills Mafia enjoy winning a Super Bowl, for God's sakes. Patrick Mahomes, will you just give him a break just once? Let him win, for God's sakes. All right, before you go, tell me about this ridiculous sport, what this game is. We have some video of it. What we do? Explain what the hell this is. I don't even know. What is it? The Atherstone ball game?
It's the Shrove Tuesday football match played a town called Atherstone in the north of the Midlands of England. It takes place on Shrove Tuesday and Ash Wednesday, which is about 6 weeks before Easter. It's a 2-day event. And when I decided it is a football match, that's being a bit generous. If I tell you the goals are 3 miles apart and it's roughly 800 a side, what would you think?
800 a side, and the goals are 300 or 3 miles apart.
It must be easy to make the team.
So
let's roll the video and explain what the hell's going on.
It's video.
What the hell are they doing? So look, you can see this big brown ball. It looks like a rugby ball. So is this rugby or is it football? Like, what is this?
It's just anything. It's when I explain some of the rules, you are going to lose your mind.
The ball is the size of a beach ball.
Basically, it dates back 800 years to the days when Henry II was King of England. Rumour has it that Tom McEwen actually did cover the first game live. So basically, it originates that the people who live north of the river compete against the people who live the south of the river, the upwards against the downwards. But it's pretty much, like you can see, they have some kind of marshalling. Now, if I read out the rules, rule number 1, murder and manslaughter is prohibited.
If you have to have a rule where that's prohibited, then okay, understood.
Rule number 2, you cannot carry the ball in a motorized vehicle, because apparently many years ago, some guys came up on a quad bike. They tried to throw the ball to them. They were going to drive it to the goal at the other end of the village.
Wow. So it's one. So if you can't see it, by the way, if you're listening on the podcast, you can't see it. It's just a crowd of people in the middle of a street and a big brown ball. It's looks like a oversized rugby ball, and they're just trying to move it from one spot. Now, does it go back and forth like rugby?
It does. Now, what you've got to point out is there's quite a few things happen. There's a lot of scores get settled at this sporting event. And there was a story a few years ago about a guy who'd been cheating on his wife. So the ball almost got thrown to him. And as soon as it did, 5 members of her family weighed in and let him have his event.
Oh, scores get settled.
Like that goes on. So in terms of how many goals get scored, last year, in 16 hours of play, the upward team won 2-0. So you get maybe 1 goal every day.
This is the most English thing I've ever seen. This is the most English thing ever. It is the most English thing ever.
It is perfect. So if you notice from the video, a lot of the shop windows are boarded up. Because there have been times in the park where, let's just say, the ball's gone through the window and a lot of stuff has been stolen from the shop because things have been going on. It's just insane. But I thought you guys had to see this.
Yeah.
It's almost, it's like the crush when Tim opens his wallet and says he's going to buy everyone a drink. This is what it's like at the bar.
Good Lord.
Nicely done.
Has there ever been like deaths on this or major injuries recently? Because this is crazy here.
Not recently. Now, one of the best stories was back in 1928. The Prince of Wales, who went on to become Edward, the King Edward VIII, he came along to start the ball, throw the ball up to start the game. Well, he didn't get out of the way in time, and he ended up going off with a bleeding nose. So the future King of England got injured at the start of this game.
God. Oh my God. All right, Paul, good to check in with you. Let's hope next year we'll be talking about the Bucs' third Super Bowl win as they, they'll have a shot next year. We'll see if they can get her done. No question. See if Jason Lane will have another great offseason.
I'll be out there joining you. Hopefully I'll be seeing you at a couple of Lightning games, some spring training baseball, and I'm sure we'll probably catch up at the Valspar Golf as well. It's going to be a good trip.
Absolutely. Looking forward to seeing you, partner. We'll have you out. I won't be able to do Palmacia because we'll rip up our course by then. So we'll go play someplace else, though.
I want to know, actually, if you played Kyle Tucker yesterday, did you beat him on the 18th green as well, like you beat me?
It came down to the 18th. They were one up, and we missed the putt on 18 to all match square. We had a 2-up lead, and I started running my mouth, and then we lost. I missed about a 4-footer at the third to last hole that probably would have got us back to winning. So I
know all about missing shortcuts on that green against you, JP. I missed one on that green myself.
You missed that on purpose, I still say to this day. All right, partner. Good to see you. We'll catch up with you when you get into town.
Take care, everyone.
Right, thanks,
By the way, Ireland beat England in the was it Six Nations rugby? I was watching that the other day. That was fun. It was in the same stadium that the FSU lost to Georgia to begin.
Same stadium. Wow. That bring back some memories.
Yeah, it did. All right. Johnny's up. All right. Well, let's take a quick break. When we come back, John Gerber is going to have his picks for the waste management. Wait till you hear the handicapping in this. It'll be it'll be all about who can handle their liquor. I think that's a major handicapping measurement this week. Quick break. Back with PGA Tour's John Gerber after this. Stay with us. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group and my man Scott Jeeves, who lives right here and has long been a highly respected member of our community. He's a proud sponsor of the Tampa Riverwalk. Jeeves Law Group is also a proud sponsor of our Grand Central District in St. Pete and has neighborhood events throughout the year. He has an office on Central Avenue in St. Pete and one on South Howard in Tampa. You can't get more local than that. So when you need an attorney, you're going to hire some huge firm that advertises all over the state or the one that supports your favorite sports show. It's the Jeeves Law Group. We're local, we're trusted, and we get results. For personal injury and personal attention, call us for a free case evaluation. That's 8889-JEEVES. That's 8889-JEEVES. Hey, JP here for my personal concierge medical professional, Chris Lugo, PA. Yeah, he's been on the show for the last couple of years, but this is kind of a new deal, and only a limited amount of you can get involved with this personal concierge service. And what I love about it, you can text or call him 24/7 with any questions or concerns, and he'll promptly call in a prescription if needed. No office visits or copays required. And Chris emphasizes a healthy lifestyle to help prevent illness. But when I do need assistance, he's always available. From nutrition guidance to supplement recommendations and workout advice, his expertise is a game changer. Plus, as a medical provider for the National Guard, he stays up to date on the latest health trends and practices, steering clear of the outdated conventional medicine that often relies on unnecessary prescriptions. And the best part, Bay Area Modern Medical Center's personal concierge service is more affordable than you might think. Visit BAMMC.com for more information and to schedule your initial free consultation. Empower yourself. Take charge of your personal health with BAMMC.com. Hey guys, why not kick off 2025 by popping the question? Yes, and you know where to get that perfect engagement ring. It's the Gold and Diamond Source. The best prices, the best quality, and yes, get her a real diamond. You don't want to go with the fake stuff. And January's birthstone is garnet for all you FSU fans, right? Get 15% off all the unforgettable garnet jewelry at the Gold and Diamond Source. Also, discover Emilique by Emily Johnson Weintraub, a sleek and modern jewelry line that makes everyday gifts extraordinary. And don't forget, you have any unused gold? Turn it into cash or a stunning new piece. With gold prices soaring, there's no better time to trade up. You can do it all at the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Omerton Road, always online at thegoldanddiamondsource.com.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here on the FanStream Sports Network, brought to you by, as I just mentioned, the Gold and Diamond Source. 40% off. Buy one piece of jewelry, get the second for 40% off during their exclusive Valentine's promotion. So go on in there. Buy two things. Buy one for yourself, and then maybe one for your lady for Valentine's Day. See how that works? 40% off. That's pretty good.
Nice.
I like that.
We have Johnny on the phone because he can't work technology.
Oh, no. I was hoping to see some beautiful escapes of Pebble Beach. What's up, Johnny?
He's probably on the toilet, so I don't know. Johnny, do you have us?
I got you guys. No, technology is definitely a little off here in Monterey, California, due to the weather. So, unfortunately, we've had some bad weather here. We were supposed to play Cypress yesterday, and we got rained out and winded out. So, that's bad if I'm not playing Cypress.
God.
Yeah, we've had it was going to be rough all week. We are still in the hotel. We have a practice round today. We are actually going to play today at Monterey Peninsula Country Club, which is great. And then the tournament starts tomorrow. So it's we're looking forward to it if the weather holds up.
Yikes.
What'd you think of Rory winning last week?
This is kind of a preview that we like to watch. Some of the club pros like to watch where, these guys are hitting it, and some of the drives that Rory was hitting, I don't understand what's going on. I mean, is there two people in that little body of his? Because some of the lines he was taking, hitting a 7-iron into 14, the par 5, he's hitting it over the house of 14 at Pebble Beach is 589-yard par 5 uphill, and he hits driver 7-iron.
You can't do that?
How the hell?
Well, I can't. The 7-iron is my third shot. Yeah, the 7-iron is my third shot on that hole. How about that? And he's hit it in 2, and he's hit 8-iron into 18. And I've played Pebble Beach, luckily, 60, 70 times, and I've only hit that green in 2 one time, and that was with a 3-wood, and he hits 8-iron. So it's a completely different game that he plays than everyone else. And even
he's 165 pounds.
If he's carrying 5 beers. That's how he gets to 165.
So how big is he? I mean, I've seen him in person. I would say he's 5'10", 165. That would be my guess.
He's 5'8", probably 165, 170 is about right. But that just goes to show how good his golf swing is and how good at spots he is to create that much speed, and how fit he is to be able to create that much leverage and speed. And, it's impressive. I mean, there's a lot of long guys on tour, and he is, when he's hitting it well, he's certainly the longest guy on the PGA Tour.
He's listed on Wikipedia as 5'9", 161.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know what that means? That's just like a fighter, right? That they're a football player. They embellish a little bit when it comes to that. But, it's crazy on some of the lines that he hits there. I'm lucky enough to know so much about that golf course, Pebble Beach, and just some of the shots that he was hitting, and no fear. And there was no wind the last day, and people would say, "Oh, it was windy," but the ball wasn't rolling, and there wasn't that much wind that last day. And I promise you, the lines and places he's hitting it, I'm not going to be there this week, but if I am there, it's not going to be on my second shot. It could be the third or fourth shot.
I've never gotten a chance to play Pebble Beach. I've been there and walked the course, but never got a chance to play it. So I'm looking forward to you bringing me out there. Cannot wait. And this is the Club Pro event this week that follows the PGA Tour. Explain that to the folks.
Yeah, it's a dual event. So it's the Pebble Beach Invitational. What they do is they take 30 tour players and they take 30 club pros, and they invite the 30 club pros. So they take some senior event players. They take some up and coming PGA Tour players, some guys that's not potentially playing Phoenix or didn't get in, and they have a pro-am, a 3-day pro-am, 2 rounds at Pebble, 1 round at Spyglass, and it's a 1-am. It's a net and a gross event. So however best you finish, you take your partner from around the country. and then there's not a cut, but they'll repair after the second day, and you kind of get in the mix with some of the tour guys. So it's a great event. I've been lucky. This is my 14th year being invited to the event.
Nice.
So it never fails. If you can get some good weather, it's the greatest place in the world. And if you get some really bad weather, it's still the greatest place in the world, but you just don't enjoy it nearly as much.
Yeah. What are you thinking of the TGL shows that have been on? I've watched 2 or 3 of them. I don't watch all the way through. It's not hooking me yet. I'm not getting it. What about your thoughts?
Yeah. Yeah, it's the same. I feel the same. I've tried, even last night I watched a little bit, with Rory playing and things like that. I've tried so much to kind of embrace it. I just can't get it. I feel the same way you do. JP
it's a tough watch.
I don't like the technology. It's really tough. I don't know what they can really do to fix it. But it just hasn't grasped me yet. And certainly in the betting aspect, there's nothing I'm going to be able to touch when it comes to that. They're not taking it serious enough for me to blowtorch my money.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. So you don't think the players are taking it seriously? It's just too much of a flippant TV show.
I think there's a balance between. I think there's some of it serious, but you certainly don't see the same thing that they're doing in a PGA Tour event that they're doing there. They're not doing the same types of things, whether it's the prep work or, for me, it's just too busy, right? There's too many things going on. I don't think the technology is caught up with the shots that they're hitting. You can tell that the tour guys are, those guys are really looking at the technology and saying, there's no way I can hit, I'm off by 15 yards on a wedge shot.
Right.
And they're learning that. So I think they're a little frustrated with that. I don't know how they fix it. If I can't figure out my computer in Monterey, I'm surely not going to tell them how to fix the TGL technology. So I'll let them handle that.
Well, I think part of the problem with them not taking it seriously is they don't believe the technology.
Yeah,
like they openly complain that their shots aren't like, I didn't hit that 20 yards over the green, and so
they know.
It's hard for them to take it seriously when the shots are so inaccurate. The rotating green and all that, it's cool, I guess, or whatever. It's way too busy. I don't like the music in the background. I love that they're mic'd up and they're talking to each other, but I would rather see that on the course.
Aren't they a little bit of an indoor live golf, right? I mean, if you look at it that way with the music and the walkout stuff, they took some of those things out. So they're a little bit of hypocrites when it comes to that. But have you heard anything about how prize money or anything? I don't know how much they're playing for. I don't know what the reward is. I don't know anything about that. So, listen, a lot of all these guys are rich. They're not flying Southwest to Pebble Beach or anything. They got their own planes, man. So I'm not so sure how much they care about it, but certain the money wise, but I don't know. I don't know. I've never heard anything about what the players get.
I think that they're salaried. They're salaried. I think what they're trying to do is get the team event, part of it. So, owners buy into these teams and, they create some value with team ownership and all those things. I don't know. I just don't think it's gripping the public, but I think the ratings, although not spectacular, are better than the NBA. So, so I think it might be a financial win for that. All right, let's get into the picks. It's Waste Management Week. Everybody's wasted in Phoenix there, or Scottsdale, I guess. It's the Waste Management Phoenix Open. What do we got this week? Are we handicapping blood alcohol levels? Who can drink and who can't?
Yeah, it's funny. We don't really do that with the players, but we certainly do that with the fans. When it comes to this event, we took the flight to Monterey to San Jose, and we stopped in at Phoenix. And the people that were going from Dallas to Phoenix, they were certainly well on their way of having a good time. So it started early there. I think the event is going to be a little bit tamer because of what happened the last couple of years. I think they're limiting the fans a little bit. I mean, the last year was a catastrophe in terms of fans in the stands and things like that. So I think it's going to be a little tamer, but a little tamer still is a good time for most of those people. So I like the event this week. We've had a lot of success there. We came off a really good week last week. We cashed in with 2 winners with Eric Cole and Taylor Pendrith, and we did go 3-1 on our matchups.
Nice.
We did it 9-3-2 for the year. We're
Nice.
we're still a little in the red of minus 270 for the year, but that's why it's important to follow every week and follow the system. But this week, if you look at the trends this week, this golf course lends to guys who drive the ball extremely well. So we're going to look at good drivers of the golf ball. I like Sam Burns at 24-1. He doesn't play well the last few weeks when the weather was bad, but the weather is going to be great in Phoenix. And I like the way he's kind of working his way into the PGA Tour season. 24-1, I like him. There's good value as good as he drives the golf ball. Sahith Theegala at 40-1 is another guy that I like. Normally, you're never going to get him at this price at 40-1, but he hasn't came into some really good form. But this is a golf course that he plays extremely well. He had a chance to win a few years ago when he was a rookie on the PGA Tour. Good value there at 40-1, so I like him there in that spot. I'm a little hungry this week, JP, so I got a double ham sandwich pick this week. Two ham sandwiches pick this week. I like Kurt Kitayama at 80-1. Another extremely good driver of the golf ball. He plays and practices in Las Vegas. Is going to be very similar to Scottsdale on this golf course. They're both TPC golf courses, so I like him at 80-1. And I like the form that Sam Stevens coming in at 80-1 also. He's played well the last few weeks in really tough conditions. He's one of the longer guys on the PGA Tour and one of the best ball strikers in terms of with his driver on the PGA Tour. So I like him in the form that he's coming into at 80-1. 2 top 10 picks this week. I like this guy. He's one of the best drivers on the PGA Tour. I have high expectations for Cam Young at plus 550 to finish in the top 10. I know he burns us a lot, and I know he's not Tim's favorite, kind of like Taylor Montgomery. I tried to find him this week, but I couldn't find him. But Cam Young at plus 550, I think he's a little bit under the radar. I think when he's under the radar, there's not a lot of pressure on him. But to get him at plus 550 to finish in the top 10, I like it a lot. A guy that's played well the last probably 3 or 4 weeks, Andrew Novak to finish in the top 10 at plus 600. Again, he played well in San Diego. He's played well at Pebble Beach. He's had some really good success. This guy's going to win. He drives the ball way too well, and he's been in contention plenty. And in a field like this, when there's not a lot of superstars besides Scotty Scheffler, it's a field that kind of lends to, again, like we said, it lends to guys who drive the golf ball really well. And I like him in this spot at plus 600. 2 top 20 picks this week, as always. Daniel Berger at plus 375. I think he's relieved himself. He was in a medical extension for this PGA Tour. He got over that, so he's fully exempt on the PGA Tour now. So I think that kind of the pressure coming off of him is going to free him up. And he's one of the best drivers of the golf ball. When he was healthy, he played well there in the past, so I like him in that spot at plus 375. And again, last top 20 pick this week, Jake Knapp at plus 440 to finish in the top 20. One of the top 5 longest on the PGA Tour. He can get a little wide off the driver, but I think this golf course, every par 5 out here is a par 4 for him. So if he's somewhat can keep it in between the houses out there, I think he's going to have an opportunity to shoot low scores. 17, 18 under is probably going to win. It's going to stay probably a little under 20. But with Jake Knapp's length, I mean, he's going to be hitting irons in every one of these par 5s if he can just keep it in front of him.
Johnny, I have a hypothetical here for you for the waste management.
Okay.
You and Chris Kohler versus Daniel Berger and Jake Knapp at Waste Management, not at the retreat, at Waste Management.
We lose at Waste Management. We win at the retreat. How about that?
At the retreat. There you go.
Has to be at the retreat.
Home field advantage. All right. I like it. All right. Over under on streakers at, what is it, 16? The par 3?
16.
Over under on streakers. I think we've already had one yesterday.
What do you consider streakers? Like fully clothed or no clothes at all or just running around?
Pantsless. No pants. I would do it.
Just runners, somewhat scantily clad runners.
JP's going conservative on us.
I would say over 3. How about that?
Over 3?
I'll take the over.
Yeah. So over under 3. I'd go under on that. Yeah.
You think it's going to be less? You think they're going to tighten it up there after last year?
Yeah, last year got a little out of hand, didn't it? Did they have more? What happened last year? Didn't one of the golfers get kind of a not attacked, but
Zach Johnson got attacked. There was a lot of guys attacked. Now, do you consider streaking if one of the tour players, like Harry Higgs did a few years ago, takes his shirt off? Is that considered a streaking or not?
No, that's just greatness.
No, that's
love Harry Higgs.
Golf immortality. Okay. Yeah.
So I posted a video on social media this morning. I think I tagged both of you guys in it of the race for the 16th when they opened the gate in Phoenix. That's just madness, man. It is nuts. It's what when the Cowboys play home games, they have standing room only seats, and they'll open the doors at one point, and it is a mad. Well, that's back when people used to go watch Cowboys. It is a mad dash for the third level, people running up escalators, running in the doors. And that's what it looked like there at Phoenix at the Waste Management. I guess this was this morning, or maybe it was from last year. I don't remember.
Are they already drunk when they're doing that?
Yeah, dude, it's still dark outside. This is early morning, and they're all sitting there, all in their costumes and whatever, with beers in their hands, and I got to do this. I got to go to this thing, man.
Love it. Absolutely love it.
I was in Scottsdale last year, right after the Waste Management, and they were half those people in Scottsdale were still drunk over at the Waste Management. So listen,
can we go next year? Can we, instead of going to the Super Bowl, can we go to Waste Management instead?
Probably cheaper.
Well, the Super Bowl is going to be this time of year when in San Jose when I'm playing in the tournament, so that might be easier to go to the Super Bowl next year, and we can figure out.
They're going to play a Super Bowl in that godforsaken stadium in Santa Clara.
It'll be the second time they did it. They did it already.
That's the worst stadium in the league after the one in Phoenix.
But I want to go to Waste. I want to do like a week of shows from the Waste Management.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah. From the 16th green.
Yeah. Where Paige Spiriniak's luxury box that she's been selling to me for the past month and a half on my Instagram.
Ex-girlfriend right there.
Yeah.
It's going to take us some time to work on that, so we better start working on that now. So that could be a tough thing to do.
All right, Johnny. Hope the weather improves out there, buddy, so you can get a few rounds in. And good luck.
I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me.
Hit them well. All right, was fun. That was a fun day. A good show.
If you could ever figure out technology, it would have been more fun having them on
my friend. Good show. Yes. Thanks to Paul Stewart for joining us from across the pond.
Good day, mate.
Thanks to the internet for holding out for most of the show. I think it did. Chris Latvala, Pinellas County Commissioner, had some great stuff to say there about the race stadium, which is not going to happen in St. Pete. If you missed that, go check that out. And, of course, the great Scott Reynolds joined us with his picks from the Senior Bowl and all the goings-on over at One Buck Place. So thank you guys for joining us. Great job, Timmy. I will see you. We'll see you guys tomorrow for more fun and frivolity on Thursday's show. See you then.